And hello everyone, good evening, and we got here today on ESH News, dear Roxanne. I
Hi,
actually,
thanks for having me, guys.
good. I actually picked out,
we missed you a lot.
we missed you a lot, and I picked the song which is in the background. Music sounds better with you. This is how I feel about you. It indeed feels better with Roxanne. Yeah. And we are very happy to have you over here, Roxanne, tonight. And I actually saw today that you had pretty much of a busy day, right? You were there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay,
What
yeah, so
happened
we
today?
thought we would kick off the month with a fresh week at Speaker's Corner, and we've changed it from the last Sunday of every month to the first Sunday of every month. So we were there today. We had an amazing turnout. We had a lot of people show up to support the conversation. We had a lot of trolls today, but we had, all in all, a really positive day full of really interesting interactions about this most important truth about what we've been taught, about where we live. And one thing I noticed, guys, is that people seem to have a big problem with just answering a very simple question. That being, why do you believe what you've been taught at your school about the globe?
So this is actually another reason that we invited you here today. I saw you on the broadcast, flat smacking left and right, and doing an amazing job. Also, like, what happened eventually with the police officer that came over there? He was like involved.
Yeah, everything was absolutely fine. As you already know, if you've been watching any of our streams over the last year or so, we've really built up a good rapport with the druids that go there, that are police officers. And Steve, shout out to Steve. He's an amazing officer. He's pretty woke in his own right. And yeah, we had permission to do what we were doing. So the police officer that I spoke to phoned Steve, and Steve told him, it was quite funny actually. He said, so if I tell Steve that you're Roxanne, he's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And I went, yeah, just give him a call. It's absolutely fine. I said, we're only here just telling everyone the truth anyway. We're not making any claims. We're not giving anyone any false paradigms. Staying to the most high as much as possible. So with that being said, within 2 minutes, the guy came back over and he said, it's absolutely fine. He said, you're a lovely girl. It's been really lovely speaking to you. You carry on doing what you're doing. And from then, within yourself, you kind of know that your moral compass inside is telling you that you're on the right path, because all of these barriers seem to come right here, and everyone goes, this is it, it's over. But no, the Most High manages to find a way to ease your passage and let you go through. As long as you're staying in the light and speaking the truth, you make the devil shame. So yeah.
Good, keep on doing what you do best, I guess. And I think that we need something like a minute or two to just say how much we love Roxanne, I guess. Right? Yeah, we will dedicate a minute in our show.
To space and beyond.
Yeah. No, but seriously, we met up Roxanne with in the Flat Earth Convention in Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
And
That was great.
since
That
then,
was
she's
great.
been a wonderful support. We fell in love instantly with her creativity and charm, and of course her astonishing
Thank
British
you.
accent.
Aw.
And
No, you guys-
here's for you, Roxanne. We love you, and we're really happy that you joined us over here in ESH News for this show today. Yeah.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, guys. Thank you so much for letting me join you this evening. And yeah, it was lovely meeting you in Amsterdam. And you know what? It really struck myself and Jason how many miles you were prepared to travel to do that, and to meet everybody and to kind of interact, and near to even to be able to go and break bread with you. That was an incredible, opportunity for me to build bridges. We're people that don't know each other, and I think it's very important to remember the only thing that is the common denominator that's got us all to meet is the truth.
True that.
The truth. It's the only reason we all know. How do we all know each other? The truth.
We're seeking the truth together.
Together, and we feel like one big family. I don't feel like I'm friends with you guys. I feel like we're family.
True. Yes.
Good. Anyway, great. So with this atmosphere, we'll get down right to it. What we're about to do today. Actually, we held last week a debate, the first Israeli debate of Flat Earth Globy that we had in Israel, and we got the honor to do that in our ESH News show. And it went along great. I do think that it was really nice debate, and
It went smoothly. It went
It
smoothly.
went smoothly.
Good,
No
good.
problems.
I kind of like felt that I was on the job of hosting the debate and to give the questions and hearing the answer. Not to judge in any way who's like right or wrong. I gave the rules and everything. Asi was the inspector guy from the Illuminati section of ESH News.
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, and
I'm an Illuminati inspector of debates.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good job.
Yeah, yeah. Pays well.
Thank you.
Anyway,
I can imagine.
That's amazing. I know.
anyway, so we did the debate, but the problem was that we did it in Hebrew, and we switched on to תוכנית to ESH, חדשות ESH for one night instead of ESH News, and we actually felt the need to share with you, with other people. Actually, after the debate, it was when they show it down over here. There was lots of reactions in the YouTube channel about, for now, something like 550 people saw this debate, and there were like 74 comments about like people saying who they think won the debate, and they gave like all kinds of like comments about answers for the
Yes,
questions that the
Let's
contestants
explain about the
presented.
debate first. About who talked.
Oh,
who
yeah,
was
yeah,
the speakers.
or the-
Then we're gonna understand. She's gonna understand better the reactions.
Yeah, I guess so.
The people that we put on the show were like, I don't know, high level flat earther and high level
Globey.
globe.
Something like that.
Something like
Okay.
that.
We got on the Globey side. We got a guy named Round Finker.
True.
His name is Nuriel Efrati, but his network YouTube name is Round Finker, and he has he has a show which is called One Flat Earther a Week, where he bashes and debunks flat earthers wherever they are. And on the other side, we got Frankus Marco, who was one of the first flat earthers in Israel. I told you, I think, about him a few times before. He's a really, I know, he's a nice guy to whoever is agreeing with him, I guess. He's very outspoken, he's Latino origin, and has this Latino hit inside him.
He's a good friend.
And he's a good friend of ours. And it was like a good decision to bring him to this debate.
Yeah, because he like trashed him all over the.
Yeah, they had a
Like,
fight like for a few
50%
months or
of his
so. Yeah.
shows is like trashing Marcus. So we brought him Marcus.
Okay.
Good.
So yeah, you kind of brought him what he's been trashing for the past few months. So well done, guys. Well done. Well done.
That's exactly.
So we will begin. We are starting this debate now. The broadcast. I will try to fast forward it in the right places. First of all, it was a Sylvester night. Okay, so we had this kind of like Sylvester party over here, and we played Europa's music, the final countdown as an entrance to this I don't know, debate, and we toasted for the new year. It was nice, and afterwards we had also. We presented the competitors, Noel Efrati. He entered with the music of Mad World. Mad World. I don't know. I kind of like. I don't really like this song for some reason. It's kind of like a crybaby song.
A bit morbid. It's a bit morbid.
Yeah, right.
I get it. I get it. What are we
Crybaby
saying?
song, Yeah.
Yeah,
No, wah wah
Yeah,
wah
yeah,
wah.
exactly. But then we entered Marcus with the song Esh, which is.
An Israeli song of
fire.
fire.
Okay, we give them like the boost of the fire to enter into this to the show. And once we presented them, we gave them first of all I explained about the rules of the debate. It was supposed to be. It was supposed to be containing like 5 questions. We've kind of like divided it. First 2 questions were like introduction questions, which I gave pretty much the same question to each competitor. The third one was a question that I gave separately to each competitor, okay, which kind of like more like I don't know, in-depth question, a kind of like attacking question to their method. And
Okay.
the two final questions were questions that people presented to each other. And we kind of like set the rules, of course, that no one should like interrupt the other, and we kind of like maintain it very harshly that no one will interfere, that it will be civil debate and everything.
Yeah, it was civilized. It was civilized.
Yeah, it was civilized. And at the beginning, I gave them like 5 minutes to present themselves in the debate. Nuriel kind of like presented himself as he's actually an engineer, a software engineer, and
Okay.
But he's like very good in physics.
in physics, yeah, and very
Okay.
involved with physics, and the one very interesting fact about him that he's also like a religious guy. Okay, he's pretty much
Right.
religious. He wears this yarmulke, and it's kind of like you can see with his Facebook profile that he's like coming from this section of Israelites. Of Israelis, and then with that I started the debate. As I told you, the first kind of like question that we asked was kind of like a general question, and the first question I asked is, what is space? Okay, for Marcus, I asked if space, as we know it, by the heliocentric model, is it exist, and how does it look like? And for the other guy, I asked, how would you describe, in your opinion, what is space looks like? What are the materials inside, and how the different bodies are like working in relation to each other? Okay, this was kind of like a question to present the speakers, their method, their way of thinking.
Where is it coming from?
And Marcus, I just want to
ואיך? איפשהו בסביבות
to remind a little bit what they say over there.
או משהו כזה, אני כבר לא זוכר בדיוק איך זה היה. ומאז הצטרפתי
Okay, now very important fact about this Nuriel Efrati guy. He's a guy that is trying to debunk flat Earth for a while now.
Yeah.
He's thinking
Right.
that he's doing like a really good job with that. This is why he did his YouTube channel. And the thing is that he's doing that for something like a year or so.
No,
and-
half a year. 6 months.
half a year, and Marcus, the other guy, always tells them all the time, "Oh, you're still just in that phase that you're trying to debunk flat Earth.
You're still a baby."
Okay, I was there in your shoes like 2 years ago. You have a long way. You will get your awakening of yours once you try to debunk flat Earth, and then you'll be like me, and then we won't have to fight, I guess. But and this is what happened.
עד האחרונה נחתם.
And this is kind of like, and Marcus is presenting himself as,
גם אני נכנסתי לשלב שנוריאל
as he actually learned physics in his lifetime, and he was quite the expert of his guys regarding physics and science.
Expert globalist.
Once he kind of like discovered flat Earth and also tried to debunk it and didn't succeed. So this is why he's like anticipating Nuriel's way in the future, and
Right.
of course. Marcus is like a big inspiration for us Israelis because he always brings his energies and his fire. He's the one that identified the fire that I want in ESH News to be existing and erupting and all of that.
He's also got a YouTube channel with
עכשיו אני
show
הולך
that
להוכיח
you're for quite
Oh, he has?
כל
Quite a
שאנחנו
while,
יכולים לבדוק.
Okay.
So, next phase
ונאסא,
was
דרכים לעבור את ה-Low Earth
bless
Orbit,
you.
שזה,
אוקיי.
כי אי אפשר לעבור מעבר
Okay, now he speaks about when he tried to describe space, he is actually trying to describe what led him to think that space isn't really exist, and he's talking about the Valerian belts, and of course about his most common phrase is about the second law of thermodynamics that actually contradicts the existence of space and atmosphere as gas as we know it, of course.
מה שקוראים לזה האטמוספירה.
Yeah, is
אה,
it,
I'm
זה
finding this. I'm
מנסים,
finding it
כי לא
incredibly
יודע, זה
healthy so far. I
הטכנולוגיה
feel like
היחידה
it's not
שהולכת
been like
אחורה. הטכנולוגיה של
a
החלל
barrage of
הולכת
insults from one side. It feels like it's so far. It feels
אחורה.
like it's at least some
כן?
kind of socially
הטלפונים הולכים
acceptable
yeah,
אחורה.
interaction that's
No,
going
no,
on.
there was no insult. They actually haven't like talked to each other pretty much, okay, until
We get
like
them
the
time,
end.
yeah, we
Until
get them-
like the end. The end, it had
Maybe one
pretty much
phrase.
of a big twist, and we will get to that afterwards.
קדימה, אנחנו...
The second
Oh,
question,
okay.
the second question that we had
Mm-hmm.
was about the map itself, and
And what map is that? What map are we talking about?
yes,
Yeah.
this is. I asked the following questions. This is kind of like a similar question, but in the opposite directions. For Nuriel, I asked, could you explain what led you to think that we are living on a revolving ball, where the Arctic area is the North Pole, which is in the top
end.
top end of the ball, and Antarctica is the South Pole, which is in the bottom part of this ball. And for Marcus, I asked him, can you explain what led you to think that we are living on the plane where the Arctic is the center of the world and the Antarctica is the outer ring that surrounds the world? Okay, and for that, of course, the Nuriel's answers were pretty much about. He kind of like claimed that he did the same experiment with Aristosthenes. Okay, that he kind of like. Contacted this guy in Canada, and they did this experiment with measuring the shadows, okay, of sticks, both in Israel and in Canada. And this is how some kind of like supposed to explain them that the Earth is a ball, like it happened, whatever it was, like 2,500 years ago, something like that, yeah. And of course, we all know today that
You're talking about the two sticks, and they got it that, and then
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
And of course, it's.
but you know that works for a localized sun as well, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
So-
this is exactly what we said, and Marcus I think said that as well.
החלליות של
Just a second.
שנחתנו על הירח, הם היו משוכללות אז, והיום הם לא מסוגלים
Yeah,
לעשות את
he's
אותו
talking
דבר.
about NASA and the fake moon landing, and of course the kind of like claim that today we can't get to the moon because we don't have the technology to do that, which is of course nonsense.
Because the old technology, the analog technology,
We lost it,
can
yeah.
move
Yeah, and
through the Van Halen belt, and the new technology
Can't.
cannot move through the Van Halen belt. So this
They've
is
got a
the
lot of
reason.
excuses, haven't they?
That was beautiful.
Now, the third question of this debate, this was more like an interesting question because this was kind of like my question as a host to the competitors, and I kind of like attacked certain issues. Okay, the first issue that I kind of like attacked Marcus with was the lunar eclipse. Okay, which is kind of like a soft spot for flat earthers usually. Okay, usually like globies are using this lunar eclipse like and the ultimate proof of the globe. They usually like they have this meme that they're showing how does lunar eclipse look like in flat Earth, and they're showing like a straight. Straight narrow shadow on the moon, which is so silly. But I kind of like asked him, asked Marcus, this kind of like with the globies, they always claim that that lunar eclipse can only be happening when the Earth is like in between the sun and the moon. And how can you explain also the lunar eclipse in the flat Earth model? Now, I think that he kind of like he dealt with it very well with this question. First,
only that one. Only this one.
Only this one? What do you mean?
That's the only question that he deal with.
Anyway, he kind of like answered. First of all, he really researched that specific topic, and he saw that first of all, the shadows in the lunar eclipse comes from above. Okay, from above the moon, when it should come from below the moon. Okay. Now, besides that, he gave also like a very interesting thought. He said that once there was like a eclipse of the sun, okay, with the moon, so the shadow was about 100 kilometers. Okay.
Wide.
Hmm?
100 kilometers wide.
Well, yeah, 100 kilometers wide, and he said that if the Earth is like 4 times bigger than the Moon, okay, so it should have cast a shadow of something like 400 kilometers, okay, and 400 kilometers is pretty small, all right, like regarding to the Moon. It's about the size of Israel, okay, and so kind of so it's very small. It's kind of like doesn't make any sense, okay, that it actually happened like that. So this is how we kind of like debunk the whole issue that it can only happen on a heliocentric model. It didn't really answer. I will tell it honestly. It didn't really answer like how it can be interpreted on flat Earth. I think it's still a soft spot, but I saw actually all kinds of like explanations about the North Pole changing the color of the rays and things like that. But it was a very good answer. The
Good.
second question that I gave to the Nuriel guy, it was about like the whole pictures, the fake pictures from of NASA from the moon, and I told him like that. At the beginning of the month, on the 5th of December, the airborne the spaceship launch of SpaceX kind of like broadcasted on live air. When the spaceship reached 162 kilometers, a rat has been shown strolling on the hood of the spaceship, which is flying 10,879 kilometers per hour.
Amazing.
So, have you seen this?
You saw
With
that?
The mind boggles. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
ridiculous,
what's your
yeah.
take on it?
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I will get to that. I wanted to know
Yeah.
what he takes on that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw all kinds of like things like that. We always see every day with NASA with all kinds of like objects falling in the ISS. All kinds of strings holding the astronauts, bubbles in space, and tons of visual proofs that all the space moon landing in '69 were actually been happening in the television set. So can you actually scientifically explain us these phenomena, okay? These pictures, and what do you think about them? And this was, I think that he actually answered horribly on those questions. Okay, because first of all, I kind of like confused him a little bit. I will have to admit, because I gave him all sorts of like examples together and didn't know exactly what to address among them.
Right.
Over there at he actually brought out of his own another example, okay, and he referred to the glitches, okay. Whenever you kind of like seeing in the end of the video, you see like the pixels of the astronauts, and kind of matched that. So
he said something about like,
yeah, he said it. Yeah, he said it's kind of pixel confusion. But besides that,
he learned photography.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He learned photography, and he knows about this thing, and he knows that these things kind of like sometimes happen. Okay.
He did experiments that succeeded.
Yeah, and he did experiment. That's the whole thing. I will have to have a harsh sense of criticism about this guy, but every time that we asked him a question, he kind of like referred us to another article that a scientist wrote, or another guy wrote, or a guy that he did an experiment. Nothing was kind of like his own answers, okay? And one other thing that he did, which was kind of like, this was an answer that I haven't heard yet. He said that the flat earthers are the one who faked those pictures in order to spread their theories.
NASA. Yeah.
Yeah. They are the ones who put rats on the hoods, or
No.
yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, it's it's
delicious.
upside down on upside down, you know.
By flat earthers.
Yeah.
So and probably put it in NASA website.
Yeah,
Also.
and we also put it in NASA's website.
that's-
After we scramble the picture and we do
That's
horrible things like
amazing.
that, yeah, we put it back on NASA's website because we saw high-tech capabilities that we can do these kind of things. And we actually have time to do this crap. Okay, anyway,
Yes, exactly,
So
yes.
this is kind of like what he answered about it. And he got lots of things like about the bubbles in space and about strings with the astronauts. He actually told me, he actually said on the debate that he saw that, and he doesn't have any explanation for that. All right. So it was lovely, and I think that this question was.
לא רואים את הסתירה שבדבר.
Let's switch a little bit.
This is Marcus yelling at
שיש, היא לא מדויקת
him.
לגמרי, זה ידוע. גם לא כל המפות של הכדור, מה
It's
שקוראים.
like always telling him, you're 6 months old.
בליקוי.
When you're going to wake up,
בשמיים, כן? לא כדור
Yeah,
הארץ.
exactly.
Oh, actually, we had a very interesting moment in this question when he talked about the pictures and blamed flat earthers. So Marcus kind of like erupted on him, and this is where we took the charge as the officers over here and said, "Ooh, shame on you, Marcus!" And we gave this other guy.
yeah, we were really.
We gave him another minute and a half to answer the question, but he didn't use it for shit.
We didn't let them
Good.
fight each other.
Good, because you give them an inch and they'll take a mile.
And we told them from the beginning, we were really objective. We were like, we don't take no side tonight. We are here to ask questions. We want answers.
עד כאן אתה מסכים איתי?
So,
Well said. Well said. That's the best we can do.
Okay, now let's go to the interesting questions. The fourth and the fifth ones are the ones that kind of like from the competitors to each other. Okay, and those are questions that I haven't prepared the contestant for that, and haven't told them anything. Nuriel Efrati, he referred the first two questions. The first one was actually a very interesting one. He kind of like pointed out on this map, if you see the picture right now, okay?
I do. Yeah.
He said he's telling that the three people that are in this picture, A, B, and C, which are like one is in South Africa, one is in Johannesburg, and one is in Melbourne, are like watching towards south.
So they're talking about the Southern Star Charles, yeah?
Yeah. And they said that he told him that they're all watching the same star group of I don't remember how I called it, octans, and they all like. So how is that possible on a flat Earth model? And he actually wasn't really prepared for that. That Marcus is from Uruguay. And he actually was born and followed the stars in South America when he was a child. So he gave him a good answer. That first of all, I think it doesn't really.
That's the best that we can hope for. Self-evident truth, first-hand information. I also have had interactions with a beautiful man that lives in Cape Town, South Africa, who also faces the Southern Stars, and there is absolutely no substantiating evidence for globeheads to use that as an argument. Ever.
no. This is why I told him, you're 6 months old.
So out of season. It's so last season, darling. So last season. So out of fashion.
He was lost all the debate. He was lost all the way. All the way.
Now, the second sign that he kind of like lost way was which is the second question, which he actually played into Marcus' hand, in my opinion. He asked him whether he can explain the second rule of thermodynamics that he mentioned in some of his videos, and why this rule is kind of like contradicts the heliocentric model. And this is like playing to his hands, because Marcus was a champion with talking about this specific thing. You know what I'm talking about, the second law, right, of thermodynamics. When you take like a container.
In fact, we have a small banner just on that subject alone that we take out on the streets.
So Marcus is also great in this subject, and he answered him right. So do you want to tell the answer? Do you want to...
Yeah, no, he gave like a good answer for that. He actually explained the whole container thing that is spread about with this barrier between them, and if you take the barrier, so all the pressures are like being mixed together and being equal, and this is what should happen if there was like a space, and
all the atmosphere would be sucked up. So.
We kind of like talked lately about Mandela effect lots of times, okay? And I'm actually questioning myself. One of the big Mandela effects that I'm thinking about lately is, tell me, Roxanne, do you know where is the ozone hole disappeared lately? Because I haven't like seen him for like 10, 15 years or so. No one has heard about him.
Less than that.
What they're hoping for,
No,
they're
they
hoping
said
for another generation to die so that they don't remember it.
No, I heard they say it closed.
It closed?
Yeah.
The
It
thing-
was like 3 years ago. I heard on the radio that the ozone hole
Yeah.
is closing.
It's closing?
That's it.
So we're in good times. Okay.
We're in good time, but
The thing
now-
is that they had to switch. Okay, the whole Judgment Day prophecy of like the ozone hole to switch it with global warming. Okay,
True.
which is actually the exact opposite of ozone hole. Okay, it's like ozone hole. Okay, the sun. We got a hole over there. The sun is gonna burn us, and we're all gonna fry.
It's not
And
gonna happen.
and I didn't understand how everything not sucking into space through this hole, but never mind.
You know what crazy?
Nowadays we got like global warming. We all like suffocating. Okay, we got like all this pollution and thing, and it's all becoming
Think
warmer.
about it. Think about it. Ozone hole. It's just a metaphor for something. But if you play with the weather like they're doing today, so you do create like what happened in Australia right now, and you do create all the floods. So you can make people feel it, that there is a fear that you're supposed to fear. So this is like basic rule of control is fear.
Roxanne, what are your takes on that? We kind of had to spill it out now.
I'm with you on that one. Second law of thermodynamics is something that we bring up a lot when we're having conversations with people. So I'm pleasantly surprised and refreshed to see that so many people are well versed on it. It's a very refreshing thing for me to hear. So good on you guys.
Okay, he kind of like explained this one very well, but let's go on to Marcus's questions, which were very good. He first of all asked him about the curvature. I spoke to him about the very interesting experiment that they had over there. I think it was 2 months ago, 1.5 months ago, in the Sea of Galilee, where they tested there's no curvature for 9.5 kilometers. And
Yes.
there should have been like a curvature, or like the mirror that was blinking over there should have been appeared behind a wall of 5.6 meters, and it was like he kind of like Marcus wanted him to explain to him what went down over there in the Kinet. How was it possible to see this blinking behind this curvature? Because Marcus actually was over there. Okay, was in this experiment, and they told him in person. This is why it's so important to be like in person in places. Okay, I've been there. I saw that, and tell me what happened over there. And he actually, I don't remember
He said
it bended like the light was bended.
It's bending.
It's a phenomenon called Snell or something like that.
Snell.
Or something like that.
And it's bending with the curvature.
Yeah, it's going like beyond the curvature, and this is why we saw the twinkle of the mirror from the other side.
So Marcus answered, I didn't saw what like you're supposed to be a magician, a very good magician, to see a light behind the curve or behind the building.
Exactly. It's not a mirage.
Yeah. He said it's like curving with the earth. So if I'm sending light to you now from Israel to Great Britain,
נדבר על זה,
you
על
see
מה שהוא
it
אמר,
like
שלא
I
ניתן
don't know,
לבדוק
pointing down.
שום...
We've got an answer for everything.
אין שום דרך אופטית.
Good, and the second question that Marcus asked him, okay, it was about about the actual speeds, okay, in space of the Earth. This is kind of like a basic question to to debunk a globe, I think, just to ask them about the speeds of and how it makes sense that everything like moves together and everything. And actually, I don't remember what he actually
איך אומרים?
talked about it. Just a second.
אתה רואה דרך רנטגן, אני לא יודע...
Oh yeah. That was funny as hell. This is a question that he answered horribly. He asked about measurements, about distances. Okay, first of all about distance from the sun, and second of all about the distance of the core of the Earth. Okay, how they measured. Like
How deep
is
the core of the
is
Earth?
the core of the Earth, and where like the gravity is coming from there,
How they
and
measure it.
and everything. Actually, Matan Korodish, our dear friend, he actually about a year ago asked a professor in after a lecture how did they come up to this number of how deep is the earth and how where is the core? And he actually got him admitted that it was a physical formula, okay, a formula that a calculative formula,
A theory.
okay.
Some sort of.
Now this Nouriel Efrati guy, he told us that they put on, get that,
ultrasound
X-rays inside the Earth,
yeah,
and from the backlash repeating of these waves, they got the distance of the.
They send a ping.
Yeah.
So strong.
It got 5,000-6,000 miles inside the core.
So strong, it got all the way to the core and back.
Wow.
Anyway,
and I take it that's from the claw of
so Marcus said,
the globe that they think we're on, with the radius that they think is on the globe.
So
that's incredible.
Yeah, so Marcus told him back.
Both ways.
How can it be? How can it be? How can it be?
I think that they know this distance about 100 years ago, where there weren't any X-rays. I think I don't know.
Did the Globee know how far the deepest hole's ever been dug?
I think
he told him 12 kilometers.
Yeah, no, 12 kilometers in Russia.
He told him the deepest hole is 12 kilometers.
So it told us, no, we got like very sophisticated like technology today that we can measure everything, and also the sun, how we measure the distance for the sun. It's very easy.
With the laser beam.
Yeah, you send a laser beam to the sun, and then it comes back to you in a matter of seconds, and you can measure it daily. Yeah, it's that simple.
That is awesome. I didn't know.
Supposedly
it was so easy.
You get like a laser that reaches to the sun. How it gets back from the sun? It will like.
That's amazing.
By magic, just by magic and belief. Magic and belief is all this line needs to hold up. And Disney.
And Disney, yeah, I will drink for that. True factors in our lives.
Shout out.
Make our
Shout
life.
out.
Disney.
And I guess for the conclusion, we got like 5 minutes that the participants could react about certain things that were said by the other part, okay, about other questions that were said, answer. So if you want to contradict this thing that they were said, and that's pretty much what it was. This is where like Marcus got a little bit pissed off in this section, because he kind of like asked what are those stupid answers that you gave about all those things, and why are you always trying to quote other people that did that and that. And it was pretty funny, and in that point I kind of like decided that I will add my own spice to the mixture of this debate. I know that these guys kind of like knew each other beforehand, and might be having something personal between one another. So I wanted them to ask each other a personal question, okay, not related to science.
Okay.
And Nouriel asked Marcus at the beginning. He asked him, "Oh, why do you kick me out of your Facebook groups and all of those places? Okay, when I'm starting to claim my science over there." And Marcus was pretty much pissed off. He said, "Okay, because you're speaking nonsense and you can't like really accept any other people's opinion. So this is why these things happened." And I guess this was pretty much.
That was it.
Now and then Marcus asked him the following question, which was kind of like I think the ultimate question. Okay, this is a question that I think debunked the hell out of all he was standing for. Okay, and this question was because if you remember, I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation that he's a religious guy. Okay, so he asked him the ultimate question. Listen, you're a religious guy, okay, and you are standing for science over here, and you're telling that science is true. Yeah, and you got like, from one side you got like the Big Bang and the evolution. From the other side you have the creation story, which is told in Genesis chapter 8.
And you believe in it, so because you believe in God, you're a religious dude. So
how do you live with yourself? Okay, with this conflict. Okay, what do you believe? Either science is not true, or religion is not true. Okay. Which is fine, okay? If religion is not true, it's fine. But this is not what he believes, okay? He's presenting himself as a religious guy. So it was And he kind of like
And he also said
first of all, he answered
about the firmament.
Yeah, no. First of all, he answered that it actually settles down completely well, and there are some commentators that say that it can happen, and they are proved in the Bible that we're talking about a ball, and we misinterpreted two terms which are there, which is the firmament and which is rakia and rakia shamayim, like the sky's firmament. Okay. Okay, and then again, let us check about a quote from Exodus. From Exodus, that he kind of like saying that the firmament is not like a solid thing. Okay, if the firmament is
not solid,
it's like he said it's like a silk. Okay,
it's like silk.
It's like the texture of it. It's like silk of the firmament. So Marcus asked him, "What the hell is the firmament?" And then he told us that the firmament is a layer which is very close to the ground and right between like the ground and the atmosphere. This was like getting really weird. Okay, what the firmament said is kind of like a layer of.
He said that in the Bible, when God said the water below the firmament and the water above the firmament, it means like clouds and water from the sky, like clouds. This is the water.
He said that there is a layer which is kind of like a silky layer, which is very close to the earth, in between the atmosphere and the earth.
Clouds and whatever.
This is where I lost him, actually. Yeah. Okay, this is where I lost him, and.
That was funny as hell.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah, Marcus kind of like started yelling on him. How do you settle this contradiction? Okay, and this was, I think, the ultimate stamp for this debate, and we finished it up over there. We kind of like felt a little bit bad for Nuriel.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he actually like afterwards gave me a reaction that he really enjoyed the debate, and
he wants more.
And he wants more. Yeah, and he wants more.
He does.
He does. He wants to do it a weekly.
Well, we've got a line round the block for Nuriel. Shout out to Nuriel, because we've got a stack of people that would like to debate you.
Who wants to be next?
Yeah.
That's the challenge. Big challenge of ESH News.
So
Next
can
one.
Nuriel speak English?
Yes, I think he's got very good English because he said he used to live in the United States and he got a friend from the United States that they do testing together. And he saw
debating with someone from
tested,
Britain or from the United States or something.
How do you say
I've got the perfect person. I've got the perfect person. My brother from another mother.
Wow,
my brother from another mother.
This is a shout out.
You know what?
Roxanne,
I've got many.
This is a shout
I've got
out
many brothers.
for whoever wants to debate this dude. So we can do it weekly, and he wants to. So it's a shout out for who wants to be the first.
And is it a live? Is it pre-recorded?
Yeah.
No, it will be pre-recorded. Okay, and.
Shall I make a phone call right now while we're recording?
You can do it.
Yeah, no, Richie, I will ask him. Yeah, I will ask him, of course.
Oh no, I've got another suggestion.
Oh, you got another?
Richie will definitely do it. Richie will definitely do it. But how about someone who's got, let's say, a master's in law?
Ooh. That's interesting.
Ooh.
No,
I don't think Nuriel that's smart.
I want Dave Murphy. Where is Dave Murphy nowadays?
We can get Dave Murphy.
Dave Murphy, yeah, I want Dave Murphy to debate.
He's in St. Lucia. He's in St. Lucia just now.
Okay.
And I know that Dave will be more than happy to debate anybody.
Yeah,
so it's a shout out.
Good.
It's a shout out for who wants to debate this dude. He's willing and is waiting for a call from us to debate him.
Okay, well I'll line a few people up.
Good.
I'll get a few people at the ready.
That's gonna be
so I hope Nuriel comes like equipped, because he's not going to fare very well against these people.
I think the British are more like flat earther, badasses, whatever.
No, I really
look at this chick over here.
I think we can
yeah,
put him like a boxing sack for all of our flat earth friends, family, whatever.
Fire. Yeah, burn it down. Alright, good.
Do it!
Blow the ball out of the water.
True.
Yeah. And
Wow,
besides that, we
same.
still I still owe you like an update about the university letter that we sent, also like to debate with them. We still haven't got a response yet, but we will pretty soon. I
They
think
will not,
we will put
Yeah.
our pressures, and
Maybe.
it will happen. And yeah, we will make Israel the capital of debates about flat earthers and stuff. And yeah, it will be awesome. Anyway, Roxanne, just in general,
Yeah, let's speak general right now.
how
Take
do you
this
like
thing down.
our interpretation of this debate? It was okay for understandable, pretty
Yep.
much, yeah? Good.
Perfectly.
Good.
Perfectly
I actually felt
understandable.
that we did a great thing over here. I actually got like a
I
people.
think you did. You've got a healthy debate going on there, and
It
that's
was
a good
healthy.
look.
It was healthy.
That's what
It
we've
was
got
like
Nathan
clean.
doing over here, so
True.
it's good.
That was clean. Yeah, it was clean. It
And
was
we're pretty much neutral,
Elegant.
and people kind of like mention that in the social networks and everything. And yeah, we're just waiting for more. Tell us a little bit. Let's leave this debate alone for a second.
Leave this subject.
Let's talk about you a little bit. Tell us
Yeah.
things about yourself. I know. How was the holiday season for you? I'm kind of like interested.
Okay, so I don't. My children and I don't really celebrate Christmas in the way that some people celebrate Christmas. So for me and the children, it was like a happy holiday because the children are off school and I don't work as much when the kids are off school. So it's a really nice time for me and the children to spend some time together and do some bits and pieces together. That much I've really enjoyed. In fact, I'm kind of sad to see them go back to school tomorrow. So yeah, I've spent
It's all about family
some
time.
quality time. Yeah, spent some quality time with the children. My daughter has just started her driving lessons. So yeah, my daughter Jessica, she just turned 17 on New Year's Day. I say New Year's Day. I've always had a very big confliction with the dates that we're given of our actual timeline. In the biblical sense, I'm not really keen on BC and AD, only because it's the only narrative we're given from year 0 to 2020 now. And I know that there's a lot of civilizations that move on other date lines. So I tend to not follow tradition. I tend to not celebrate Easter. I tend to not celebrate Christmas. Because I'm not really quite comfortable with where those modern day traditions have sat themselves in the consume obey mentality. Because what I've seen now a lot of parents, they're spending thousands and thousands of pounds on their children at Christmas, and styling it out is from some old man in a red suit. It's a bit dodgy. Like even when you think about it like this, like you're sitting children on an old man's lap, you don't know him from nowhere, and you're asking the children to tell the old man what they want for Christmas. They've been good little girls and stuff. Like, come and sit on Santa's lap. Let me
Come sit on his lap.
Tell me what a good little girl and boy you've been. Come and sit right on my crotch. Come and sit. And what you've got is you've got parents voluntarily doing that to their children.
And he promised them presents.
That's another thing, right?
For him,
We've just come out of the season. This is something that I really want to say and I really want to put
for him
forward.
being
Okay?
a pedophile,
I'm someone that sits around the table with my children. I'm still very much let's all sit and eat together. And the one thing that really worries me about the Santa narrative, right, is that what you'll have parents voluntarily lying to their children, voluntarily spending the money that they've earned as employees and been taxed on. Yeah, they've been taxed their wages. Then they're going to go to the shop to spend the money that they've worked for and be taxed again on their purchases for their children. So that's just one aspect of it. But the other aspect of this is very, very, very serious. They brought lies into the home from early. And they've done it in a non-stick fashion where they've got parents voluntarily sitting at the dining table going, okay, Safi, okay, Timmy, if you write a letter to Santa and you ask him for what he wants, he'll come in here tippy-toed while we're sleeping and he'll leave his reindeers outside and we'll bake cookies for the reindeers and we'll leave carrots and cookies and milk for the reindeers and cookies and milk for Santa, and Daddy's going to come down in the middle of the night and eat the cookies. Or we've got the single mummy as well. Let's not forget the single mums out there that don't have a daddy that's helping bring up their children.
So it's not looking good.
So for you, you've got the mummy coming downstairs and taking the biscuit and going, oh, look, Safi, look, Santa's been here. What did he bring you? Wait, you're now giving your money, buying things and then you're giving some other bloke that doesn't exist the credence for it. So your kids don't thank you. They thank some bloke who's
You give somebody else the credit.
boys.
You give somebody
We've now
else.
got an 11-year-old, right? Now we've got an 11-year-old, okay, who's been brought up for the last 11 years thinking Santa's real. We know the 11-year-old knows better now, okay, because he's been to school and his friends have told him it's bullshit, bruv.
Yeah.
Okay? So now, little Timmy, he's sitting eating his Sunday dinner, and Mummy's going, "Have you been a good boy, Timmy?" "Yes, Mummy." "Well, you carry on being like that, Santa's going to get you that bike at Christmas." Oh, crap. I was just about to tell my mum I knew that was crap. But wait, if she's going to get me a bike, I better just play this lie a bit longer. Now we've got an even bigger problem. It doesn't matter if this mum and son go to church. It doesn't matter if this mum and son think they're living a benevolent life and staying to the commandments and trying to live a clean life. You've got a mum lying to her son, a son lying to his mum, and they're all pretending it's all okay. It's all right until the day Jackie, the mum, says, "Timmy, I've got something to tell you, Timmy. Right, Santa's not actually real." Timmy already knows this. Timmy goes, "Oh, Mum, really? Are you serious? Santa's not real?" "No, I've been buying you those bikes every year, Timmy." "Okay, Mum. Well, seeing as everyone else gets lied to, it's not really a problem. I don't really think you're lying to me about anything else, Mum. Would you, Mum? You wouldn't, would you?" "Okay, Timmy, while we're here, I'm just going to tell you, the Easter Bunny doesn't exist either. All right, darling? While we're here. No, actually, while we're here, Timmy, I'm just going to tell you that the Tooth Fairy doesn't exist either. Okay, Timmy? Okay. And what else? Mickey Mouse is just a character on TV. No, Mum, really? You took me to Disney World and I saw him running around. No, that was a guy in a suit, Timmy. I'm really sorry. So this is crap. No, that's just crap. Everything else is true, Timmy. Now why do you think the children don't have any respect for their parents? Ultimately, because they know their parents were the first people to lie to them.
True.
Voluntarily. And you know what? Visible force was in their house. It's called society.
I can't
Well, we
stop
can't go
and help.
again.
I can't help admiring
But just agreeing
about the huge, smart idea to create some control system that like it's inside the home, and it's like you don't need to do anything. The teacher
Non-stick. You know, like the frying pans you
teaches
use at home?
It's
You
in
see the
home.
frying pan?
It's like you
You
don't
have
need to do
frying
nothing.
pans, guys.
It's so smart.
Guys, they give you frying pans that have Teflon on them, so your eggs don't stick to the Teflon.
Oh my god.
This is the analogy. This is a Teflon tactic, non-stick. Okay, you don't even have to be told to lie to your children. You're just doing it.
Roxanne, where is the?
Do you know
hope?
why?
But you know what? You know the ultimate claim for that. Okay, if Santa and the Easter Bunny doesn't exist, how they can all be in on it?
This is it. I've seen a few memes with kids holding up Christmas presents saying, "Of course Santa's real." Too many parents would have to lie to be in on this one.
Oh my god.
This is a globy mentality.
Imagine a kid say that though. Imagine a kid say, "Of course Santa's real." What, you mean all these parents are lying? Rah. Rah. Timmy, sit down. I'm going to tell you something. You're not going to
All Santa idea is like giving you the carrot, sababa. So, and then all year long, because you don't have holidays, you get the stick. Understand? That's the way to rule. Fear and secret.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
Yeah.
Why, God? Why?
All of that. So yeah, for me, I had a nice Christmas time. That's what you want to call it. But no, we don't do Dutch Christmas lunch and
we
the
do
whole.
We do Hanukkah.
Nah.
What?
Yeah, I already explained about Hanukkah enough times. Yeah,
Cheers.
very good. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, let's just.
Roxanne, I want to ask you a
Let's get
question.
drunk and yeah.
Do you know the guy from the company Virgin, the British dude who's got the company Virgin, the flying outside the atmosphere flying company? Do you know?
No, the guy from Virgin Records.
What's the name? What's his name?
How's it called? The blonde guy
The
with the
blonde
beard.
guy. Do you know the owner of the Virgin company?
How's it called?
Richard Branson.
Richard
Branson.
Branson.
Yeah, exactly.
You know he was in Israel lately.
Was he?
Yeah, you don't know when he came off the plane, he kissed the ground,
Yeah.
and I have the picture to prove it.
Okay.
Wait.
If you got Roxanne.
So what do you think about it? If somebody like
Richard.
this dude came to Israel and kissed the ground and came to the people and said he's going to fly everybody to space, all the Israelis. What do you think
I
about
don't know
it?
why he would do that. I don't know why he would do that.
Why do you need to come to the Holy Land, kiss the ground?
Was this recently, Asi?
Yeah, it was like 2 months ago.
Anyway, Roxanne,
Think about it.
I want to, if you're already here, okay, I want to join you into our favorite segment of trolling the ISA Israeli Space Agency Facebook page. Which is-
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good, clean fun.
That's good.
Okay.
That's fun.
Okay, first off, we will, in the first shows of ESH News, I kind of like followed the whole process of picking the Israeli...
No, they found a plan.
Okay, they found the planet, a star. Okay, Israelis, I guess,
Israelis
and
found
they
it,
wanted to give
They
him a
did a
name.
competition to all the people
Yeah,
about the name of the planet that Israel found.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it was something
So,
like
it was like competition.
1,360 light years away.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense that you'll find a star over there. But again, they did like a competition, okay,
Beautiful.
of a beautiful competition, okay, and they got like a whole big group of scientists and people from the Hebrew Academy that kind of like sat together and thought of names, and they brought up like 5 names. And just today I saw that about 2 weeks
They
ago
chose the name.
they chose the name, okay, for the Israeli star, which is called Aleph. Aleph is the first Israeli letter.
Hebrew letter.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, okay, that over there where they publish like the results, okay, they suddenly saying that they have this planet has a mother planet. Ooh!
Another one. They found another one.
Congratulations, you got a mother.
He's got a mother. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a mother planet.
And the mother calls.
Yeah, and this is the first time that actually they mentioned him, okay, in this place. After they picked up the name for the first one, they're saying, okay,
They said they found only one. Now it's 2. Like,
now it's 2,
it's
okay.
beautiful.
Now we got 2, and the
Awesome.
second one is gonna go called Tevel.
Tevel.
Tevel, it's like universe in Hebrew, but the thing is that it starts off with the letter Taf, which is the final letter.
The last
Okay,
letter.
so they had to find like they call it Aleph, and then they found the second one, the mother planet, and they call it with a letter,
Taf.
with a word that begins with Taf. So
like-
it's from
It's like call
Aleph
him A,
to
one to call him A,
to
and one call him
Z.
Z.
Zoo.
Like this, so they can say from A to Z.
Yeah. So it works out
Beautiful.
in the language. It works out
In
beautiful.
Hebrew, it's like sounds like we discovered.
It's a beautiful thing that
What?
could combine the language and the
And-
planets and our universe.
Yeah, and the first letter of the Bible.
But it's not true. It's not true. There isn't any
Fake.
planet. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
So
my God.
and
Creepy.
creepy shit. Okay, now we got like we're celebrating 50 years to the moon landing. So why shouldn't we celebrate? We got in Hanukkah they had like in the science museum in Jerusalem. They got the moon is hosting. Ooh,
The what?
happening Hanukkah happening that will blow you away to space. Yeah, good.
Roxanne, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, what is this?
I'm ready.
You got your suit.
Okay. Oh, they hear
You
got
got your
about
spacesuit?
Trump over here and about his space armada,
All right, look
whatever.
at this picture.
Yeah. Oh,
Look at that
and this
picture.
thing over here. Yeah. Let's
Look
see.
at this. This is like the
Let's see this.
national Israeli Facebook page of whatever they say.
Oh,
No.
sorry,
Go
sorry.
back.
Yeah.
Now I want you to observe.
This is look at this. This is suppose of course it's an astronaut in space, right? Oh, Gary.
Gary.
Are you here? Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Hi guys,
Hey, Gary.
I'm free. Hi Roxanne, happy New Year.
Good to
No
have you
worries.
also.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, we want. We welcome Gary to our
Welcome
show.
Gary to our show, and we actually been through our whole debate with Roxanne, and we're now just trolling the ISA website, and it's a good, clean fun, the Israeli Space Agency website. We gone through the name that I gave to the new planet, and just we'll go through on these pictures, and then I will present Gary over here. So as you see, they got like a real authentic picture of this astronaut. They're saying over here that the Israeli space industry is in the front of the global of the world. Okay, come and know some interesting guys from the high tech company.
Observe the picture.
Yes. Oh, it's an event that happened over there in Thursday. But this picture is so funny. Okay, because you see over here there's like a line. Okay, it looks like a fluorescent lamp or something like that. Okay.
A flash.
A flash. Okay, there are actually two flashes.
Dodgy. Either way, it looks like I can see a ceiling.
Ceiling. And you can see like
a cupboard or something like that. A cupboard, like all kind of boxes on the top.
Boxes and
maybe it's like maybe it's.
It's amazing.
Now and you can see like
either way, it's dodgy, guys. Dodgy.
Yeah, and you can see like two lights coming from two different directions. Okay, on the mask over here. Okay, that's. Of course, we got like 2 or 3 suns in space, I think, at least, right? And let's go.
That's like official.
And
wait, stop on.
This one they got like an Israeli company got like a spacesuit for astronauts now. They develop it's for protecting against radiation in space.
We got a solution for
astronauts in their future quest to Mars. It's actually written over here that they're going to Mars with this thing.
Yes.
Okay, good. And we got a picture from here of Antarctica. Beautiful. Whoever took that picture, okay, that's funny. And we got the final thing over here. We got a nice authentic picture. They say that over here. This is a satellite, okay. It is called the Dror 1 satellite, the communication satellite, that will march Israel to the new communication satellite industry in the next 15 years. This lovely picture will do everything. And it's also, of course, sponsored by the תעשייה אווירית, the
Space IL.
Not space, תעשייה אווירית is called
the industry
the military industry of the Air Force. Yeah. Okay, so we got interesting stuff going over here, lots to be expected, and
a lot of stuff going on.
It's all bullshit.
Lately.
It's all bullshit. I'll see what we're gonna do. This is our country over here. Come on. All right.
Let's build a submarine or gather money to buy a submarine and
do that. Okay, let's say hi to Gary. To Gary that is waiting patiently over here. Hi Gary, how are you?
Hey Gary.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It's nice to see everyone.
Good to see you too, Gary. And we're here just to, I guess, we're here to tell you about the debate that we had in last week, and we had a really good time, really good results, and I think that the results kind of came into our direction pretty much. Although, like throughout the debate, we were completely neutral. The thing is that Gary is a very big part of this debate, at least on my perspective, because a week ago when I knew that I needed to do this debate and I needed to thought about how I'm going to host it and what the question will be like and how the formation will be like. So I contacted dear old Gary, and he gave me a few pointers and advices, and he actually did kind of like debates like that in the past, and came out with very good advices, and I used several of them throughout this debate. And so first off, I want to say thank you, Gary, because you really helped me a lot, and again, it looks like something that is not noticeable throughout the debate, but it did had a lot of impact. The fact that I talked to you and the fact that I took your advices. So, thank you. And
besides, helped Nia. It's just nice to have a little bit of a format, isn't it? And it has to be impartial and neutral and just be fair to everyone and give everyone a bit of time to do their thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Yeah. It was a nice, intelligent debate. No screaming, no yelling, no.
Nothing that
No
get out of order, out of like a hand.
Yeah, we
and
didn't
everything.
let them.
Yeah, and
It was good.
And Gary, I want to just ask you, just as I asked Roxanne, how was your holiday season? How is your days lately? How are you? I kind of like missed you. I haven't talked to you for a while. Gary?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to Roxanne. Sorry, what did you say?
No. I asked Roxanne earlier, and now I'm asking you. I'm wondering about your well-being and how are you?
No, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I've actually gone on a bit of a health kick since December the 1st. I've been trying to run or do exercise about most days. So I did about, I think it was 23 days out of 31. And I joined a gym, and I'm trying to keep an eye on my regime to try and get, because what happened is I had an injury 2 years ago, and it set me back, and it's not only set me back physically, but it also is amazing. Even though I understand how the mental part of it works, it still affects you, even though it's like it's a bit it's like almost like a trap, really. You trick yourself. So I've tried to I've completely invested a lot of energy and time to increase my fitness, because it's fallen by the wayside for the last 2 years. But yeah, it's all good. I'm on a good path. I'm happy.
Good.
Awesome. I can understand him, because I had the same thing with my finger in the motorcycle accident.
Me and Asi actually we met Gary in even before we arrived to Amsterdam. He was the host of this convention along with Didi. She was like the organizer, and we had a really good time. This is where we met up with Roxanne. And we started our path. Actually, Asi said in Amsterdam we founded the Flat Earther State. Okay, this is his phrase of misquoting Benjamin Zev Herzl from Israel. And we actually feel that in the last 3 or 4 months that went by since then, we've done a long way, and we got into really good contacts. And lots of them are because of these two lovely peoples over here. Besides that, I saw Gary in the last conference in Dallas. He was over there. He actually gave us an interview from the ground. But after the interview that he had with us, he actually did a tremendous thing over there and asked for donations for the Global Eye Tour. He actually managed to do the tremendous thing and raise a whole lot of money, and Roxanne over there is getting excited just thinking about this moment. And yeah, Gary, just a little bit about your, actions and things that you're active in within the Flat Earth community. That are not really, you don't have like a YouTube channel like all of us that blab all day, but you're doing different stuff which are very important and critical for our yeah. So tell us a little bit about what
the signal's gone. It's me. Sorry,
Gary.
Sorry, I think it went a bit funny there on the connection. I didn't quite catch the last 10 seconds.
Okay, just a little bit about your actions that you're doing, like off camera, like backstage, and things that you like to be involved with Flat Earth that keeps you occupied and beneficial for us and doing your great deeds.
Well, obviously, going forward, obviously I'm working on the Question Everything 2020 convention, but it's a little bit of a tricky one because it's actually going to be in a university. I'm keeping the university name a little bit quiet because of the fact that you probably remember, Nia, that there was a bit of an issue with Amsterdam convention that a journalist decided to try and cause trouble by ringing up the convention organisers, not the convention organisers, the actual venue hosts, to try and stir it. So instead of just being reporting of the news, they were trying to create the news, but create it with negativity. So that's made me very wary. And also the university in question are very keen that we do not, they don't want to be associated with anything that can give them a bad name. So I'm being very coy with how I'm doing it. And I've also got to deal with their legal team, which has not been easy. So, but no, what it is, the Question Everything is, instead of it being a Flat Earth convention, it's basically going to be a co-Flat Earth stroke other things, which includes vaccines, 5G resonance frequency, and hopefully it's going to be talking about global warming, and that's actually going to be if I can get it, which is the recent his brother was the recent opposition to the Tories that got back into power the other day. So I'm working on different speakers to do different aspects, and also at the same time I'm obviously working closely with Roxanne and a few other people just to keep the wheels turning with what we're doing in the UK. I'm not as active as some of them, but I'm doing different things. But we are a very strong unit, I think, in the UK with what we do, and it's going strong. And I think the likes of Roxanne and Jason and Robin and Charlotte, and Anthony Riley, Nathan Oakley, Rod Durham. There's some really, really good people that hopefully I haven't missed too many people out. Allegedly Dave, can't forget him, and Dave Marsh.
Don't forget
There's some really, really
don't forget dear old Lisa, because she was the most activist in the Globe Lighter.
Exactly, yeah, and Lee. Don't forget Lee. Thing is, that's the thing, you see, you can start reading off these names and then you remember afterwards, you think, there's 5 people I forgot to mention, but there's some really people, and also Janine, Dolly Daydream as well. I've got to mention her, so she'll kill me. But there's some really, really nice people and positive and upbeat, and I feel blessed to know these people.
Yeah, I was mentioning Lisa earlier. Actually, today I have to mention it over here. She kind of like published a poem, a very long one, okay, of like that she started writing on the Globe Lighter, and she finished that today. So if you kind of like bump into that in the network, the social networks, it's a charming, charming song. She's a very talented lady, and I actually read it and I enjoyed it a lot. And look for it, okay? It was published today, and I highly recommend it. Poetry, come on, be civilized.
Did you actually remember that at the very end of the convention in Amsterdam, she wanted to have a few minutes on stage, and she actually did a poem then?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, I was outside. I think I was outside.
I saw the.
You remember that?
I saw the end of it.
If you want it, I can actually locate it, and I can actually send you the link to the. Rodrigo Ferrari Nunez. She actually videos from the convention, and she's on the end of the third part of 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Roxanne, yeah, we're talking about poetry.
I've got to quickly go and deal with the kids.
Okay, no, that's okay.
Both of my kids, but I can be back in about half an hour if that works.
That's okay. We'll be finishing up by then. And Roxanne, thank you a lot for joining us today. It's been lovely. You are charming as always. We love you here in Israel and in general.
Thank you, guys.
The whole world loves Roxanne, I think. Yeah, no one will doubt that. And get back to us over here in ESH News. We would love to have you. And of course, be hosted wherever you take me. I will go with you, Roxanne. Take me.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, my darling. Gary, big hugs and kisses to you, my darling. Thank you guys for having me, and I'll speak to you again soon, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. Big love. Bye.
Bye. All right, so we're...
Can I just mention to you, Nia, that we had with Charlotte, we had a meet-up in Birmingham the other day on the 29th, and I think there was 42 of us. Would you believe?
Okay. Maybe so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had Roxanne, bless her cotton socks, she actually went all the way up to pick up Janine up in the north to bring her back down just so she could get to the meet-up. And the effort that Roxanne puts in is actually quite immense.
Okay, good. Listen, Gary, I think that we're having a little bit of technical issues with the camera over here, okay, because Roxanne just left. But anyways, Gary, it's thank you very much for joining us for this show.
Yes.
Okay. I promise you the debate went along pretty well, and you will be able to see that afterwards. After we will edit it and we'll put it on ESH News, you'll be able to follow the debate as we translated it to English for Roxanne. So see what went down over there. And
that's awesome.
Good. And Gary, thank you again for helping me with this one. And of course, we'll be in.
I I'm really pleased, and you guys are doing a great job. And I think it's lovely, not only the fact of obviously we're doing what we're doing in our country, you're doing what you're doing yours, but we're connecting as well, and we're helping you, and you're helping us. So it works both ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We missed you a lot.
And also, like,
The best thing you did was coming to Amsterdam, didn't it? Really, that was the start of it. Really, you making the effort to come over. You invested time and money,
True.
and we've obviously got to know you. You've since I think you've been on different things, like with I think Cami. I think you may have done something with her, and you've done a few things with people in America, and it's all because you made the effort to come to Amsterdam. So I think that's kudos to you guys.
It's because of you. You created Amsterdam.
I know, and like on September, Lassie, me and you are planning to question everything on where Gary will take us. We will go.
True.
We will try to make the efforts and pop up to this convention of yours.
I'm there.
You're there.
Already.
Yeah.
Excellent. It'd be lovely to see you guys again, and obviously if you do something over in Israel, I would love to. If it can work out time wise, I'd love to come over to
it's on plan.
not only see you, but also to see what you've got together, because I think that would be quite exciting.
That will be amazing. Come over. We're gonna take care of you like a spoiled child.
Yeah, and
that sounds good to me. So, but no, that's lovely.
We'll show you what holy really means.
We will take you to the Holy Land like you're never gonna see it. You're gonna feel it in your body.
Yeah.
This is what we want you to see.
Yeah.
Then go back to the UK and explain them the feeling that we have here in Israel at the Holy Land.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different than the other places.
Get it too much, Asi. Come on.
I love it.
Okay. Gary, have a wonderful evening. We'll toast another one for you over here in ESH News. And we'll probably talk to you soon. And of course, we'll update you about all our things over here, debates, events, whatever. And,
Thank you, Gary.
Good.
You're welcome. It's nice seeing you both, and take care.
Good. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone watching as well. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
All right, Asi.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was a beautiful show.
Yeah,
Thank
it was
you,
a nice
Nia.
show. Yeah, it was a nice
With the
one.
beautiful people, and I'm really love that we can now spend our time laughing and take a side at the debate and laughing about the answer and call, from my point of view and my personal opinion, KO.
KO.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Gail.
Thank you for watching.
All right, thank you very much, and hoping you
See
enjoyed
you
this
next time.
edition of ESH News. See you next time.
Yes, of course.